Okay. All right. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Now we are going to cover this in much detail. The topic is uh, basic geometrical part we are going to cover today.
Okay,
And
sir.
under basic geometry, we start with point, no doubt at all.
Okay.
And under point, we first study what the point is, and we can understand that point is something. It is actually a geometrical entity, a very basic geometrical entity, and this basic geometrical entity has only position. It has actually no dimension, like no size at all. Okay,
Okay.
point is also a geometrical entity. When we consider geometry, first we need to understand what the geometry is. And when we discuss geometry, about geometry, we just consider geometry to be part of science or part of mathematics or branch of
Okay.
mathematics rather. And this
Okay.
branch of mathematics actually deal with, okay, first I want you to understand what is actually mean by the geometry, because we are starting with geometrical figure today. We are going to start with geometry today. Geometry is actually a branch of mathematics in which we deal with figures and their properties. Basically, we deal with figures and their properties. How will you define it? Branch of mathematics
Okay. Branch of mathematics
that deal with
that deal with
shapes and their properties. And what are different shapes we are going to deal with? We are going to deal with point, line segment, ray. We are going to deal with angle, different type of angles, triangles. Then we will deal with other two-dimensional geometry like circle, quadrilateral, parallelogram, another quadrilateral, different type of quadrilateral, and so on. As well as we will deal with three-dimensional figure which has volume as well. That means here we are going to deal with two things. Here we are going to deal with two things, and those two things are two-dimensional figure as well as three-dimensional figure we are going to deal with.
okay.
So we can broadly categorize it, or we can broadly define it as a branch of mathematics that deal with shapes and their properties. You can just define like this: shape and their properties. Under different shapes, we will consider shapes like line, point, line segment, rays, two-dimensional figures. Under two-dimensional figures, we will include triangle, circle. Okay, we will include quadrilaterals. All right, under three-dimensional figure, we will include cone, cylinder, sphere, prism, pyramid. All these geometries, all these shapes and their properties, related properties, are studied under this branch of mathematics, and that is known as geometry. Okay. Before starting with this session, we should understand what the geometry is, and we have just covered that it is a branch of mathematics where we deal with shapes and their properties. And what are different shapes? Uh, we have just discussed that what are different shapes we are going to deal with. Okay, the first thing that we should understand here is point. Point is the very basic figure. Point is the very basic and simplest figure that we are going to cover. Okay,
Okay.
very basic and very, you should say, very simplest geometry.
Okay.
And what the point is, I have just presented definition here that you can write, or I will share this PDF, you don't worry about that. Point is actually an entity, you can write, that I have already presented, or you can say a point is an exact location or position with no size. Okay, in each and every point we have a particular position or location. That means a point has exact position. Point has exact location. These two things, location and position, are simple. Location and position both are same thing. These things, locations or position, is there with a point, but point has no size. No size means it has no length, it has no breadth. Okay, it has no length, it has no breadth, it has no height. That means it has no dimension. No size means it has no dimension.
Dimension. Okay, so no size, that means has no
No
dimension.
dimension, exactly.
Okay.
It has
So can I drink some
location.
water?
Yeah, sure. It has
Okay, I'll come back
location,
very
but
fast.
it has
Okay.
location.
Okay.
Location means we can represent a point on the plane, anywhere on the plane. A point can be represented anywhere on the plane. It is
Okay.
possible to locate point on the plane, and for the same we make use of x and y axis. X and
Okay.
y axis are these two axes that we use as a reference axis, and we can locate a point. When we locate points using these two axes, we just include one more mathematical branch, and that is known as coordinate geometry.
Okay.
It is
Okay,
also
so
a
can I
geometry. The word itself suggests it is a geometry, but when we locate a point, we deal this type of representation under a specific branch that is known as coordinate geometry. That means
okay.
under geometry there is a part that is known as coordinate geometry,
Coordinate geometry.
where we specifically locate a point. Okay, the
Okay.
point may be located anywhere, maybe on the first quadrant, maybe on the second quadrant, maybe on the third quadrant, maybe on the fourth quadrant. Anywhere it can be located. Okay, this was the
Okay.
first thing that we need to focus, that is point.
Okay.
The second thing is line.
Wait, so can I drink some
Yeah, yeah,
water?
sure, you just go. Okay, next thing is line. Just come back.
Yes, sir, I'm back.
Yeah, all right. Okay, when we consider line, we actually say that line is a we actually say that line is also an entity, geometrical entity obviously, but it is made up of many points, infinite many points, and we can define it in this way. A line is a straight path. It is a straight path
Okay.
that extends in opposite direction. That means it extends in opposite direction. It extends towards left side, it extends towards right side. They extend in opposite direction. Line doesn't have width as well as definite ends in both direction. It has neither any width and it has neither definite end. It doesn't have any definite end. It doesn't
Okay.
end towards left, it doesn't end towards right. It is represented using this symbol AB, and we use this symbol to represent that it is line. Okay, got it? Next
Okay,
is
sir.
line segment. Line segment is a piece of line. We just consider a piece out of this line and we get a line segment. Line segment is a part of a line, you can say, with both ends fixed, with two end points. That means both ends are fixed. A beginning and an ending point is here. You are having a beginning point and end point, both are here with line segment.
Okay,
And
sir.
ray is the fourth point you need to understand. A ray is also a part of line which has one fixed end. A ray is a part of a line with one end point, that is one starting point is there with a ray. but it goes up to infinite, continuous, forever in the other direction. Other direction is not fixed, other direction has no end point, but it has one end point that you can observe. In this way we represent a line segment. That means we represent, first we have point like this, then we have line with two, maybe we can just represent these two ends, but actually they are not ends, we just approximated with two ends A and B, but actually it doesn't have a fixed end. We are just writing A and B so that we can name it AB line, but it does not have fixed endpoints. In case of line segment, we have both ends, both endpoints are fixed. In case of ray, one end is fixed, another is not fixed. Okay, so far we have
Okay.
covered these four basic geometrical figures, four basic geometry. Now it's turn to understand what are different types of lines. When we consider different types of lines, we can have many lines. Actually, lines can be broadly categorized under two heads. Lines are made up of many points. It is very clear to us that there are infinite many points in this line, and if these 3 points are lying on the same line, we name it, do you know what do we call to these 3 points or more than 3 points? We call them collinear if they lie on same line. And if we want
Okay.
to categorize line, there are two categories. The first one is intersecting line, and the second
Okay.
category is
Parallel.
parallel line.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Under parallel line, these lines never cross each other, never intersect each other, they do not intersect each other. We have named it L and M. In case of intersecting line, they will intersect. When we extend or without extension, they will intersect at a point, then we call it intersecting lines. Under these intersecting lines, one condition may occur when these two intersecting lines make an angle of 90 degree, that they are mutually perpendicular. Such lines are known as perpendicular lines. That means under intersecting line we have perpendicular lines. Under intersecting lines, if they make an angle of 90 degree, we call them perpendicular lines. Okay, I will further explain what the angles are. Okay, here I have written something for you that you can just read it and understand what they are. The first thing is the parallel lines. Parallel lines are always aparted or always separated by same distance. They are always the same distance apart. That means if you consider the distance between these 2 points, these 2 points, these 2 points, these 2 points, they all are same. Okay, here we can say line AB and line CD are parallel, and we can represent symbolically like this. I'm representing like this. This is line AB and this is line CD, and they are parallel. We represent using this symbol. Okay, this is a symbolic way to represent that lines are parallel.
Okay.
Similarly, we may have crossing line, that means intersecting lines.
Intersecting
Okay,
line.
what are the
Yes.
intersecting lines? Lines that intersect, that means a line that cross each other at a particular point. If you consider a line that cross each other at a point, you will call it intersecting lines. These are lines that cross each other are called intersecting lines. Remember that a line if cross each other is known as intersecting lines.
Okay.
Got it? And
Yes,
here
sir.
if you properly observe, I have a line AB, and here line AB intersect line CD. Okay, you can just observe here on the screen. Similarly, we have one variety of intersecting lines that are said to be perpendicular lines. Why do we call them perpendicular? Because they make an angle of 90 degree here. That is why we call
Okay.
them perpendicular lines
Perpendicular.
that meet or cross each other to form angle. Which angle? Right angle. Now you will understand what the right angle is. I will tell you what is angle. I want you to explain. Okay, or you can explain. If you can explain, you just tell first what the angle is. Can you tell me that what the angle is?
Okay. So, An angle is like where it's in a corner and it forms like a shape, like kind of like a shape.
Yeah, angles are actually formed when we consider two rays originated from same point. When two rays originate from a same point, we get an angle. Okay, when two rays originate from same point, two rays originate from same point, form an angle, and this angle may be acute, may be obtuse, may be reflex, may be right angle, may be straight angle, okay, may be complete angle. What have I said so far? First I have said acute, then I
Obtuse
said right angle,
or okay.
then I said obtuse, then I said reflex, then I said straight, then I said complete. Acute angle is an angle. Angle is represented using theta. It is somehow less than, greater than 0, less than 90, then it is acute. If it is exactly 90, it is right. If it is greater than 90 but less than 180, it is actually obtuse. If it is exactly 180, it is straight. If it is greater than 180 but less than 360, it is reflex. If it is exactly 360, it is complete angle. Later on I will explain this angle in much detail. Here you can observe line AB and line CD are perpendicular. This is the symbol to represent perpendicular. Okay, earlier we have represented parallel symbol, and parallel symbol look like this, and perpendicular symbol, remember, look like this. Okay, here lines are perpendicular, and if they are parallel they will look like this. Okay, we can name them A, B, C, D, and if they look like this, we call them parallel line. Okay, after
Okay.
knowing these things, we can now start with yeah, I have presented definition of angle. Okay, earlier I have just explained what the angle is. From here as well, you can just observe what the angle is. It is made up of two rays that share the same end point. Here this is the same end point, and these two rays share the same end point. That same end point is known as vertex. The common end point of an angle is known as vertex. Here we have ray BA, ray BC, and this is our angle, and this angle is named as ABC. This is a symbol to represent an angle. What is the symbol to represent an angle? This symbol is used to represent an angle. It can be named as ABC, or we can name it CBA. Both are the same way to represent an angle. Either you call it ABC or you call it CBA. Both are same way to represent an angle. What an angle is? An angle is a geometrical entity that is made up that is formed when two rays originates from same end point. If two rays originate from same end point, we actually get an angle. Here we have AOB angle, that can be also named as BOA angle. Okay, similarly I have presented here, you can just observe. All right, clear with this?
Yes,
After
sir.
this we have, after this I have just presented some definition to properly quickly recall these concepts of point, line, and line segment and rays. You can just go through it quickly. A point is pictured by a dot, we represent it by using dot. It is named with a capital letter, we represent using capital letter. I have presented here. Line segment is a straight path between 2 points, both ends are fixed, it is a part of line. It is represented as BC, we write bar like this, or we represent using CB as I have presented here. Whereas a line is a
Okay.
straight path that goes on forever in both direction. This is a line DE, or we call it ED, or we write it as DE line or ED line. We represent like this. A ray is also a straight path that goes on forever in one direction, but one point is fixed. We call it ray FG, or we call it FG, and we represent like this, and it is called ray. Okay, now this is a question for you. Write if each point, line segment, line, ray, and name it. We are supposed to name them. I have answered the first question for you. It is named as line TS or ST, or we can represent in this way. What will you say for this one? You will call it line segment CD, or line segment DC, or you will write it as CD line segment or DC line segment. What about this
Okay.
XY? What will you call to this? You will call this ray XY, okay, or
Okay.
you will represent it like, or you may even say ray, yeah, you can't say ray YX to this, remember that. You can't say ray
Okay.
YX to this. Why can't you say ray YX to this? Because this start from X, and that's why your name start with X, and you can name it XY ray. Okay, now in the third question, what will you name this? You will name this QR ray. What will you name this to fourth figure? Fourth figure, it's point
So L,
L. It's
point
point
L.
L. What
Okay.
about fifth? It's line segment
Line
NQ,
segment.
or we can say
So,
line segment QN. But for ray, we can't call it RQ. Remember that. It can't
yes,
be
sir.
called as RQ because it starts with Q and can't end with R. That's why we can't say RQ. But here we can say either NQ or QN. Okay. Similarly, we have sixth question for you. Can you answer this?
Okay, so that is VU bar.
VU, it's ray or line or line segment.
So it's line sorry, it's lines,
It's
line.
line. That's why you can name it VU or you can name it UV.
UV.
Because it has both
Yeah.
direction, you can name either VU or UV. What about seventh question?
So seventh question is HI.
Yeah, it's HI or
HI then
IH.
line.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can name it
HI or
HI
IH.
or you can name it IH. Okay, what about this eighth?
Wait, so wait, it's covering. Yeah, JK.
It's not JK, it's always KJ. It's
KJ.
a
Okay.
ray.
Oh yeah,
Yes, you
sorry,
made a
that's
mistake.
array. Sorry, it's
Okay.
KJ.
Okay, what is this? I have already answered that this is a line segment. Now it's your turn to answer second. What is this? I have already answered the first part that it is line segment. Now you are supposed to answer what the second part is.
Line.
It's
Line.
line, exactly. What the third part is?
Ray.
It's ray, very good. Can you name this ray? If I name it O and we name it P, it is said to be OP ray.
OP.
Okay,
Yes,
what
OP
about the
ray.
next? What is this?
Point.
A point, very good. If we name it capital P, we will call it point capital
Cap.
P.
Point
And what
capital P.
about
Yes.
fifth?
Fifth is also a ray, but A ray.
It's a ray, exactly. What
Yeah,
about
but
next?
A. Okay. So it's a line segment.
Exactly, it's a line segment. Very good, very good. Okay, now we have more questions. Okay, now we will define some other things based on angle again. Okay, first I'm going to explain you adjacent angle. Okay, what the adjacent angles are? Adjacent angles are those angles. Adjacent angles are those angles which has uh, same vertex and one of their arm is common. One arm is common.
Okay.
There are
One of
two
is
rays
common.
originate from an end, but here in case
Okay.
of adjacent angle, there are three rays that originate, and these two angles are said to be adjacent angles. Okay, I have written some properties of adjacent angle. They have same vertex. This vertex is same for both. Share one side is this side, that is common. One angle is not in the interior of the other. Okay, one angle, that this angle is interior and this one is exterior to this. Similarly for this one is exterior. That means they both are not interior to each other, but one of the angle is exterior of the another. These are some properties, and I have presented some examples so that you can understand what are,
These are the adjacent
yeah,
angles,
what are
right?
adjacent or not. Here you can say that they are adjacent. They are greenish and yellowish. They are adjacent, same vertex, shared side. This is a shared side, or you can say common side. Shared side is also known as common side. We can also name it common side. Similarly, for
Okay.
this question, this is the same vertex, and these two angles are adjacent angle. And if adjacent angles are making an angle of, if adjacent angles are uh, In a straight line, making a straight line, they are known as linear pair, and they are also known as
Linear.
supplementary angle.
Okay,
What do we call
supplement.
them? Supplementary
Supplement.
angles, because their sum is 90. If it is A, it is B, their sum is going to be 180, sorry. That's why we call them supplementary. If we are having two adjacent angle like this, which make an angle of 90 degree, what do we call to them? We call them adjacent angle with 90 degree. That means complementary angles.
Complementary angle.
Okay,
Okay.
I will further explain what it is. Okay, here
Okay.
here these vertex are not common, that's why they are not adjacent. Remember that if vertex are not common, they are not adjacent.
Okay.
Okay, similarly this angle and this angle are not adjacent. This angle, this one and this one, are not said to be adjacent. Why do we say so? Because they don't have common side. They have common vertex, but they don't have common side. If they don't have common vertex, they can't be adjacent. If they don't have common side, they can't be adjacent. Okay, got it?
Okay. Yes, sir.
After adjacent, there. Okay, I have now presented what the complementary and supplementary angles are. I've already explained that complementary angles are two angles whose sum is 90, and supplementary angles are two angles whose sum is 180. You can just remember
180.
them. Okay, now I have just written the definition part. You can just see and observe the definition. If two angles measures add up to 90, if their summation is 90, they are complementary.
Complementary
Here
angles.
are three
Okay.
examples of pair of complementary. You can just observe
Oh yeah,
50,
60 and
30, and
30,
60.
45,
They
45,
sum up
52,
to give
30.
you how much?
Okay, so like you
Yeah,
can
this
do
exactly. Their sum is 90. That's why.
so
What
but
if?
I have a question.
Yeah, say tell.
What if you do 30 degree, 30 degree, and 30 degrees? Is that still
Okay,
complementary?
yeah, it's not complementary because in complementary
Okay.
we consider two angles. Only
Two
two
angles. Okay,
angles we
fine.
consider.
Okay. Two
Yeah.
angles.
Okay, remember, if I'm saying what, yeah, we can call it A is complementary of B, and
Okay.
complement of A is B, and complement of
Okay.
B is A. They are vice
A.
versa complement of
Yeah,
each other,
well,
and their sum
okay.
must be how much? Their sum must be
90,
90
90
degree.
degree.
And here I
So
have,
that remember, yes.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You must be recalling these things because you have already
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we
we
did
started.
it. So
Okay, no problem. You just quickly recall all these things. Here the sum of these two angle is 90. That's why they are supplementary. Here these two are, sorry, not complementary. Here these two are also adjacent, but it's not always true that adjacent angle are complementary.
okay.
Adjacent angle may be there, vertically opposite angle they are known as. Okay, adjacent angles may be complementary, or maybe that they are not adjacent but they are complementary. The main thing is their sum should be 90 degree. What is the main
Okay.
thing you need to remember? Their
The
sum
sum
should be
should be
90
90
degree.
degree.
Here in this
Okay.
case the sum is 90. Do you think 30 and 52 sum up to give you 90? If they sum up to give you 90, that means complement of 38 is 52, and vice versa, complement of 52 is 38.
38. Yes,
Now
sir.
we have supplementary angle. What the supplementary angle are? If two
180
angles
degrees.
measures add up
Up
to
to
180,
180.
then we call them supplementary angles. And here we have presented examples. In the first case, they are linear pair as well. Why do we call them linear pair? Because they
Because,
form a linear straight line, and their sum
okay.
must be how much? Their sum must be 180.
180.
Then we call them supplementary. And here as well, this
Okay.
is 90. That's why this should also be 90, because they are vertically opposite angle, and vertically opposite angle formed by two intersecting lines are always equal. Similarly,
Okay.
similarly, these two angle 152 and 28 also sum up to give you how much? 180. That's why these two angles are also known as supplementary angle. Whenever two angles sum up to give you 180, we call those two angles supplementary. If two angles sum up to give you 90, we call them complementary angles. Okay, I have now
Okay.
presented these pair relationships. This is adjacent angle, 1 and 2 are adjacent here because they have one vertex and they have a common a common a common side. Similarly,
Okay.
these are vertical angles, 1 and 2 are vertical angles We also
Okay.
call them vertically opposite, and these angles are actually equal to each other. Vertically opposite angles are said to be equal to each other. Similarly, we have complementary angles whose sum is 90. They are supplementary whose sum is 180. I have just helped you to quickly summarize all these concepts. Okay, now it's turn to understand what are these. Yeah, we have already covered what are adjacent, what are vertical, what are congruent. Congruent means they are exactly same. If it is 30 and it is also 30, we call them congruent. Vertically
Congruent.
opposite
Okay.
means they are just intersecting lines make vertically opposite angle. Complementary, this is 50 degree, this is 40 degree, they sum up to give you 90, they are complementary. Let's say this is 60, this is 30, they sum up to give you 90, that means they are complementary. Similarly, supplementary, that means they sum up 60 degrees here, 120 degrees here, they sum up to give you how much? You will say 180, that means they are supplementary. Here 30 and 150 are linear pair as well as supplementary. Linear pair are always supplementary, but all supplementary are not always linear pair, remember that.
Okay.
Here 1 and 2 sum up to give you how much? 1 and 2 sum up to give you 180. That's why they are linear pair as well as supplementary. They are not only linear pair, they are also supplementary. That means they are supplementary as well as linear. Okay, linear pair, that means they form a straight line. Then only we call them linear pair.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, after going through all these things, now it's turn to cover these things very quickly once again. Parallel lines,
Okay.
that means they are having same distance
Yeah, same
throughout.
distance between throughout.
Throughout. Okay,
It'll
they
go
are not going to
infinitely, right?
cross. Yeah, they goes up to infinite.
Yes. So,
And here we have two lines which are perpendicular to each other. They are making 90 degree. Okay, they are perpendicular, and these are vertical angles, they are vertically opposite. So whenever line intersect, they are intersecting lines which may be perpendicular, which may be vertical angles. So whenever we get perpendicular lines, whenever we get vertical angles or vertically opposite angles, we actually have two intersecting lines, then only we can get perpendicular angles, then only we can get perpendicular lines, then only we can get vertical angles as well. These vertical angles are equal actually. Adjacent angles are those which have same common endpoint and common side as well. One side is common. These are adjacent angle, but I'm not saying they are equal. They are adjacent, I'm just saying that.
okay.
Now these are complementary angles whose sum, let's say it is 45, it's also 45, and their sum is giving you 90, then you will call it complementary. If they are, let's say this is 120, let's say this is 60, if their sum give you 180, you will call it supplementary. But if they form line, straight line as well, will call it supplementary as well as linear pair. Got it?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, I have here written their properties in front of that. In each and every case, I have written their properties as well. Two lines that will never intersect, lines that form four right angle. Opposite angles are equal here in vertical opposite angle. Two angles that share a ray, two angles that add up to give 90 degree, two angles that add up to give 180 degree. I have written their properties as well. And after that, I have okay, when two lines intersect, when two parallel lines intersect, when two parallel line is intersected by third line, we call that third line transversal line.
Transversal line.
Yeah.
Okay.
When two parallel lines are intersected by a third line, then we
Okay.
call that third line
Trans.
a
Transversal.
transversal line. What will you call to
Okay.
that third line? A transversal
Transversal line.
line. And here
Okay.
these two parallel lines are going to make some angles. Okay, I will explain what are different angles that they are going to make. Okay, let's say these are two parallel lines. This is L and this is M, and this is a
Okay.
transversal intersecting these two lines together at the same time. Then
A
we have these
transverse
two, yeah, then we have some
intersecting.
angles.
Okay.
Then we have some angles. I'm going to explain what are those angles, what are different angles. One by one, I'm going to explain you what are different angles. The first angle that we may have is these two angles. They are known as interior angles. What do we call to them? Interior angles.
Interior.
And these interior angles give the sum of how much they are supplementary. These interior angles are supplementary. These interior angles are supplementary. These interior angles are supplementary. Do you know what is the meaning of supplementary?
So supplementary is the
That means they are sum up to give you
some
180.
to 180. Yes, and then
Sum is
complementary
1.
is
Sum is
90.
90. Okay, these are interior. Similarly, these are two interior angles whose sum is going to be how much? 180. Okay, now
180.
these two angles are also going to give you 180 sum. What are those two? These are exterior angles. And similarly, these two are exterior angles. Got it? You
Yes,
got
sir.
what are interior angles and what are exterior angles? Can you just note it down in your record about exterior angles and interior angles? These exterior angles and interior angles are supplementary. They both are supplementary. They both are going to give you 180 degree. Their sum is going to be 180 degree. They both sum up to give you 180 degree. Is it okay for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. These exterior angle as well as these interior angles are supplementary. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
No problem. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Similarly we have two angles. Let's say these two lines are parallel. We just understood what are interior and exterior angles. Whenever a transversal intersect, we again get two angles. These two angles. These two angles. They are known as alternate angles, or these two angles, what do we call to them? Alternate
Alternating
angles.
angles.
And
Okay.
what is the property related to alternate angles? About alternate angles, we say that they are equal. Let's say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Then we will call that 1 is equal to 2. We will call 3 is equal to 4. This is the property of alternate angle. But remember, for interior and exterior angle, the property is something else. For interior and exterior angle, the property is that their sum is 180. They are supplementary. But for alternate angle, the property is that they are equal. Similarly, we have corresponding angles. I'm just going to tell you what are corresponding angles. If these are two parallel lines, let's say L and M, and I'm having a transversal, let's say N, and if I just want you to tell what are these two angles, you will call them corresponding angles. If I want
Corresponding
you to tell
angles.
what are these two angles, you will call them corresponding angles.
Okay, so corresponding angles.
This angle 1 is equal to angle 2, this angle 3 is equal to angle 4. Similarly, we have more corresponding angles like this. This angle and this angle also corresponding. This angle and these angles are also corresponding. And remember that these corresponding angles are equal to each other. What are they? They are equal. Here angle 1 is equal to 2. Here angle 3 is equal to 4. Here angle 5 is equal to 6. Here angle 7 is equal to angle 8. And they all are known as corresponding angles. Can you now
Okay.
identify the corresponding angle, the alternate angle, the interior angle, the exterior angle? Can you identify them today onward?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now I am having three different angles in front of you that you can properly observe and tell me whether you are getting all these or not. Here you are having corresponding angles that are equal, alternate angles that are equal, interior angles that add up to give you 180. Now I'm presenting in front of you, these are your corresponding angles, and these corresponding angles are making the symbol of F. They are equal to each other. These are your alternate angles. They are making the symbol of Z and Z, whatever you say, and they are equal to each other. And
Yes,
here,
sir.
these are interior angles which are making the symbol of this, that is known as, you may say U, or you may say E, or C, you may say, which sum up to give you 180. Got it? Got it?
Yes, sir.
So far you have covered what are corresponding angle, what are alternate angle, what are interior angle, what are exterior angle. Okay, now there are some more category I have just presented. Alternate angles, angle that are on opposite sides of the transversal. This is a transversal, they are opposite sides of transversal. They are known as alternate exterior angle. They are alternate exterior angle. Exterior, they are corresponding angles. Okay, same side of interior angles I have already told. Alternate interior angles I have already told. Okay, these are same side exterior angle. Okay, these things have already been explained in much detail. Now you can just observe them one more time. Alternate interior angles are equal. You can just observe how do we represent them and what is their common property. They are equal. What about same side interior angles? They are supplementary. Their sum is 180. What about alternate exterior angles? They are also equal. What about same side exterior angles? They are supplementary. And what about corresponding angles? They are equal. Okay, I have presented same things 2-3 times so that you can well understand and well memorize every concept. That's why I'm covering these things again and again, and I'm presenting these things again and again. Now we can start with some questions, but before that I want you to tell what the triangle is. Triangle is a geometrical entity, and it is a plane simplest plane geometry. Plane geometry is something that has two dimension. That means I'm going to consider a two-dimensional figure from today onward. And what is that two-dimensional figure? It is your triangle. It is made up of three line segments, and these three line segments form a triangle. Triangle has a unique property that their sum of angles is always 180 degree. Their sum of angle is 180 degree. If I just make an exterior angle, let's say D, then this exterior angle, that is CBD is equal to interior opposite angle. It is equal to interior opposite angle. These are two properties related to triangle that I want you to understand. We will solve some questions later on. Okay, we
Okay.
can just categorize triangle using their side approach and angle approach. By side approach, it may be equilateral if they have all three equal sides. It may be isosceles if it has only two equal sides, and it may be categorized as a scalene if it has no equal sides at all. Or it may be considered as acute if it has all angles less than 90, they all are less than 90. If it has one angle exactly 90, it is right angle, and if it has one angle which is greater than 90, it is obtuse angle, triangle. Okay, now we have property of triangle that I have already presented. Their angles sum up to give you 180, that is known as angle sum property. One more thing is, the sum of two sides of a triangle is always greater than the third side, even it can't be equal. Okay, and this exterior angle ACD is equal to interior angle ABC and CAB. Remember that. These are some properties. The third property I'm presenting here is known as exterior angle property. And after understanding all these concepts in much detail, here it is your turn to solve some questions. and I'm presenting the first question in front of you, and I think you can solve this first question. First question of the class is here in front of you, and I want you to answer this question. The question is, which of the following is the measure of acute angle? The
So
options
70
are
degrees.
95, 70, 100 and 105. And
So
you all,
70.
you know that acute angle is something that measure only less than 90. That means your theta, which is the symbol to represent an angle, must be greater than 0 but must be less than 90. Here it is obtuse angle, here it is obtuse angle, and here the fourth one, 105, is also obtuse. Only 70 degrees acute angle. Very good. The next question in front of your screen is here, and the question look like this. Which is the symbol to denote an angle? The first symbol is to denote an angle, second symbol is to denote triangle, third symbol is dot, used to denote a
Degree.
point,
Oh,
and the last symbol is used to represent perpendicular lines. Do you know how to represent two parallel lines? We use this symbol to represent
yes, sir.
two parallel lines. If line L is parallel to M, we can represent like this. If line L is perpendicular to M, we use this symbol. Got it? Okay,
Yes, sir.
next question in front of you is here, and the question look like this. The question is 5x, x plus 12, and x are three angles of a triangle. They are angles of a triangle. If they are angles of a triangle, that means they are part of the triangles. This is 5x, this is x plus 12, and this is x. As per the angle sum property suggests, can you tell me what should be they look like and what should be their sum? Yes, you can say that their sum must be how much? 5x,
Yes,
then
sir.
x plus 12, x, then x plus 12. They all should sum up to give you how much? 180. And here I'm having 5x, then I'm having x, then I'm having x, then I'm having 12. Then it is equal to 180. What can I do is I can just add up all variables that give you 7x, and I can subtract this with 12, and I will get how much? 7x equal to 168. And I will divide here by 7, and I will get 24 degree. And do you have any option 24? Yes, it is. The first option is 24.
Yes, sir.
That means if they are representing angles of a triangle, that means their sum must be how much? Their sum must be 180. That is
Yes,
why I
sir.
am saying here that x is going to be 24, because if x is 24, then only the sum up, it will sum up to give you 180. Now the question is, reflex angle is equal to, you know what the acute angles are, what the reflex angles are. So far you have just covered the topic acute angle, and you know that the angle having range of 0 to 90 is acute. Angle having exactly 90 degree is right angle. Angle that is less than 180 but greater than 90 is actually obtuse angle. And the last variety is 180 itself, that is known as straight angle. And one more thing is here, that is greater 180 but less than 360, that is reflex angle. And 360 itself is known as complete angle. I have presented everything in front of you so that you can well understand. Okay, now I want you to figure out your answer here in this case. Which one of them is reflex angle? Either is the first one reflex? It should be greater than 180 but less than 360. Reflex angle. Do you think all of them are reflex? If I'm adding 180 and any 90 value, what will I get? I will get 270. Do you think 270 is reflex? Do you think 270 is reflex?
Yes, sir, because
It
it's
is.
over.
Exactly. If I'm adding 180 with any acute angle, maybe 80 degree, I will get 260. Do you think 260 is an obtuse reflex angle? Yes, it is. I'm adding 180 degree with acute, I'm getting reflex. I'm adding 180 with any obtuse, maybe I'm adding it with 200. What am I getting here? Do you think 200 is obtuse? 200 is not obtuse.
No, sir.
I can add 170 here. What will I get if I'm adding 170? I will get 350. Do you think 350 is a reflex? Yes, it is. That means our answer should be all of the above. All of the above are going to give you reflex angle. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, one more question in front of you, and the question is so easy. Which of the following is a full angle?
So it's the
Full
one. So
angle, full angle. The
okay.
options are 90, 180, 270, 360.
So it's
It's
360.
360. Very good. I'm proud of you. Okay, next question in front of you there in the screen is here. Okay, it's so easy. You can just sum up 70 and 50. You will get 120 degree. You only have x and here 180. You can just shift this 180 and it is simple. One variable one variable solution and your x look like 60 degree. Okay. Next question in front of you in this screen. Angle greater than 0 and less than 90 degrees. What do you call to an angle which is greater than 0 but less than 90? What name do we give to such an
So
angle?
acute angle.
It's
Okay.
acute angle. Very good. It's acute angle. That means our option second. Okay, next question in front of you. Angle greater than 90 but less than 180. What name will you give to such an angle? Is it obtuse angle? Do you think so?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Right angle is somewhat 90 degree. Acute angle is something that is lesser than 90, greater than 0. Obtuse angle is exactly what we have been asked here. Reflex angle, you know, that is greater than 180, less than 360. Two lines that do not meet each other at any point are parallel lines that do not meet anywhere. And if they meet somewhere, they are intersecting line. If they do not meet, they are parallel line. Okay, can you answer next question in front of you? Choose the reflex angle from the following options. Can you
So can
help
you
me?
scroll down?
Yeah, I can. It's 60 degree, the first option. It's 360 degree,
Mm.
the next option. It's 210 degree, the next option. It's 179.
So
179
it's
is
210,
obtuse.
sir.
179 is obtuse.
Obtuse.
360 angle
Yeah.
is full or complete angle.
Yes, sir. So it's
210 is
210.
your answer. Next question in front of you is acute angle lies in which quadrant of the coordinate? Here 0 to 90 degree lies in first quadrant. 90 to 180 degree lies in second quadrant. 180 to 270 degree lies in third quadrant. 270 to 0 as well as 360 degree lies in fourth quadrant. That means acute angle lies in which quadrant? Can you now answer?
First.
It's first quadrant. Very good. Okay, now the next question in front of you here in the screen is which of these sums can be formed using two obtuse angle? If you are adding two obtuse angle, can you ever get 50? You can't get 50 because obtuse angles are greater than 90. If something is greater than 90 but less than 180 is known as obtuse angle. And if it is greater than 90, you can't get 150 as well. If it's greater than 90, you can't get 120 as well, because 90, if it is at least 91, you will get 182. Okay, okay. If it is exactly 179, you will get 358. Here 320 is of your choice. That will be the sum of two obtuse angles. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you now answer this? Choose the angle that is less than a right angle. 90 degrees exactly right. 95 degrees greater than right. 85 degrees less than right. 100 degrees greater than right. They asked to answer less than right. That's why I've answered here. Identify the pair in which both the angles are obtuse. Both the angles are obtuse. Here this is obtuse but this is acute. This is obtuse but this is acute. This is obtuse. This is obtuse. Both angles are obtuse. Here it is right and it is acute. Now the next question, angles of a triangle are in this ratio. You take the screenshot of this. I want you to solve at your place.
Okay.
This will be your homework. Okay, I will just share this PDF. You don't worry. I will share this PDF. I'm just scrolling this off. Okay, this question is also as your homework. You solve at your place. This question as well. And remaining all questions. This one is so easy. If you want to solve it now, you can. The angle which is 1/5 of its complementary. Let's say that angle is the angle which is 1/5 of its complement. Let's say one angle is 5x, then another angle is 1/5 of its that complement, that means it's x, and these are complementary, that's why sum should be 90. I have assumed a to be 5x, that's why b is x, and it's 90. 6x is going to be 90, and now if I divide 6 both side, I will get 90 over 6, and it's 15 6 ja 90. They ask you to tell the angle which is 1/5 of its complement. It is 5 times x, that's 75. Okay, the angle which is 1/5. Okay, 75 is your angle, 75 is your complement, and its 1/5 is 15. Your answer is actually 15 here. Your answer is actually 15 here. And next question, I want you to solve at your place. So easy. And all other questions that I have here in this slide, I'm going to share it for you and you solve them as your homework. And I'm going to end the session for today. You solve all of these at your place. Okay, all right. Bye bye. Take care.